Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to your course on Big Data. Today, we have a new guest with us. Today, your teacher will be Mrs. Shano Solanki. She has done her master's from Thapar University, Patiala, and BSc from Kurukshetra University. Her major interests lie in the area of machine learning and data mining. So, today, the will be Mrs. Shano Solanki.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I'm actually transferring you the rights so that you can start with the course in a while. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am. So, ma'am, kindly tell me about the target audience so that I can have a brief idea about the
Ma'am,
students and
majorly,
whosoever is attending.
major audience is from bachelors. They are mostly EU only, and some of them are outside.
Okay.
Are from some international students are also there. So it will be a mix
Okay.
of language issues are there. So it will be a mix of English and Hindi, depending on what audience is about. So there are two
Okay.
or three which are absolutely English favors. So you need to speak for them
Okay.
in complete English, and
Only three are
others,
there of such kind. As you said, there
three
are
are
some
there.
international students. So these are only three students.
Yes, ma'am. Only three of them are there. Our area. From them are
O- Okay, ma'am. Okay, fine. So have they done anything prior to this practically with respect to,
transferring
statistical
you the
programming or
rights.
analysis? Fine.
Yes, the major part that until now is no. Oh, ma'am, they have not done particularly in statistical analysis. They know better about Hadoop.
Okay. They have gone through some big
Of
data
some of commands
platforms.
related to Hadoop installation and about yes, ma'am, about platforms only. Installation part is done till Hadoop, so that they can learn how
Okay.
to manage things. About statistical analysis in machine learning, particularly, they have not done anything right now.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, I am transferring you the rights.
Okay. Thank you, Vamsi, for introducing yourself and your skill set, your prerequisites. So, as far as we are going to learn with our language, so as such, you need to know any of the programming language so that you can understand the basic programming concepts using this language. So it will be better if some more students would like to give some brief intro to means what they have done till now and what are the programming languages that they are aware of. Madam, have you shared the rights? Python, C++, or SQL. So good to know that many of you are aware of this Python programming language. C++, SQL.
There is a minor glitch at my end. I'm just transferring you the rights.
Okay, man, fine, no problems. Yes, madam, is it ready? So shall I start with the session or is there any delay?
No, ma'am, everything is fine.
Okay, fine, fine. So I think now I can start with sharing my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
So is it visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So very good evening to all of you, and I hope we are going to enjoy the session by learning together through this session. And as Madam has introduced you about the programming language and its scope. So in today's session, we will focus mainly upon what does R programming can do for you and what kind of means programming you can go ahead with R programming language, just as you have learnt it in Python programming language. So any fair idea about means how R is different from Python? Students can interact in between so that we can make the session more and more interactive.
No, ma'am, no idea.
No idea. So as far as this programming language is concerned, let me introduce you briefly about the programming language. So in this session, we are going to cover introduction to R programming. What is the main requirement for learning R, or you can also phrase it as why we need to learn R. What kind of steps are required in order to install this on your machine? And as far as integrated development environment is concerned, so we are going to make use of R Studio for this, and how packages contribute towards the extensibility of the programming language. So just like as you have put in the chat window that you have covered earlier some basics of Python also at your own level, and plus many of the students has responded in terms of that they are aware of programming languages like C, C++, and Java. So in Java as well as in Python, or you can say in PHP or R, all four programming languages that I have just shared with you, all are open source and freely available. And in this, we are having a very important concept of, you can say, packages. So we will try to understand how R can provide you the extensibility through lot of packages. And there are certain do's and don'ts, that what kind of things R can do for you and what we cannot do with our programming languages, or in what kind of situations R is more promising, you can say. So some of the features also we will cover, and how we can go about doing the basic programming by using the R Studio environment. So this is our agenda for today. So R is a programming language and software environment which is primarily used for statistical analysis and graphical representation and reporting. So I hope every one of you understands statistical part, and analysis is a very broad term over here, and we can include lot many factors over here in order to cover the analysis in detail. And as far as graphical representation is concerned, it is related with visualization of your data. So can you give me a hint that if you're provided with data, how you would like to view it, in the form of rows and columns, or it will be much better if I can plot some graphs from this, and then we can analyze or interpret something. So any idea?
Yes, ma'am,
Graphs.
graphs are easier to read.
Hello? Yes, students.
Graphically, ma'am.
Graphically, so what added advantage it provides you? So can't you infer anything from the data that is consisting of rows columns? Can you do a better reporting from the visualization of data, or both are needed? What is your opinion in this regard?
Both are needed, ma'am.
Both are needed. So we can frame it in this manner that if I need to know in detail, as you have seen it in Excel also, that if you are provided with some Excel file or a data file, so you can create different kind of plots out of that, whether it is a bar chart or you can say pie chart or different kind of plottings, histograms and so on. So you can do all this kind of stuff in other, programming platforms or tools available for data analysis. And when it is a matter of getting a quick interpretation of the things, so many a times graphical representation is far better than your rows and columns. So if data is consisted of 1 million records, I cannot at a one go I cannot view the data and I cannot make any useful judgment out of that. So for that purpose you can say that one reason for preferring R or you can say Python is visualization of your data, so that you can create beautiful graphs out of that and you can include it in your reports. So for that purpose you can make use of R. Otherwise it can be a personal choice also. Many of the people are already working in let's say R programming, so they can go ahead with even machine learning using R programming. So if you're totally new, means neither you are knowing R nor you are aware of Python, then it is your own choice. You can opt for any one of these depending upon your requirement. Is it clear to all of you? So it's a
Yes, ma'am.
major question, which comes in our mind when we initially starts using any of these programming language. Can I do better in R or can I do better in Python also? As far as my personal preference is there, I have tried, hands-on with R also, and we are using Python also in our day-to-day work. So it is basically your requirement. So if you are suppose having more number of good packages in R available for your particular domain task, so you can even go with R programming language. There is no harm in it. And if Python provides you better scope for implementation of your task and more number of good packages are available in Python, so you can even try the things in Python. So I hope this part is clear, which is mostly you can say a very basic curiosity in the mind of students that shall we go for this Python or R. So R was created by Rose Ihaka and Robert Gentleman in University of Auckland, New Zealand in the year 1995. So basically this programming language is very closely associated with another programming platform which was also open source. It is S and S plus, further it was modified. So R is an open source general purpose license statistical environment which was modeled after these two programming languages S and S plus. It is just like you can understand that earlier we people were having C language and later on that was modified in the form of C++ so that the concept can be closely correlated with your object oriented concepts. So any person who has worked with C, so they can very easily switch over to C++ in the object oriented environment. So R is having its base in S programming language. So another thing is it's a full-fledged programming language. So you have all kind of facilities available that you normally try out in any programming language. So is it clear to all of you the difference between tool and programming language?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So generally what we do, if I'm having a tool, so I hope you people have heard of some data mining tools. Have you gone through any tool like Weka or so? Weka, Statistica?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
These are basically tools, means tools which are basically designed in some programming language, but to the user end, only it is more user friendly and we are not actually doing the programming in that, but using the features. Are you getting my point? But in R, it is a programming language. So I can write my code, I can customize it, and I can modify the things, which is utterly not possible in case of, Weka and other programming, you can say tools which are used for statistical analysis. So in Veka also, as it is a Java based, so if you people know Java language, so you can correlate Veka, interface with the backend programming with Java. But otherwise, purely if you're not aware of any programming language in which that tool has been designed, so you are left with only using the features that are provided in the form of UI. So various menus are there and various features are available in that. We'll see here that in our programming language, we will make use of R Studio, integrated development environment. I will show you what kind of features are available in that. So another thing is it is compatible with mostly all the programming, operating system platforms. So usually people prefer Windows, Linux, and if you are having Mac machine, so you can even install it on that also. So right now I'm telling you through, Windows based machine. So I have installed it for Windows based machine. So now this slide is basically all about what is the basic need and why we learn R. So till now I have already explained for you open source language. So could you please tell me any feature and any point regarding open source language?
Anybody can
Yes,
contribute
students.
in the
What is your
development of our
understanding about
language.
open source?
Ma'am, open source means anybody can contribute to the development of our language.
Oh, anyone else who, if you want to share something? What is the alternate of this open source?
Closed source.
And what is another term for that closed source? What do you understand by closed source language? Yes, students. So may I know the name of the student who has just shared the open source language interpretation?
Shivam Maurya, ma'am.
Shivam Maurya. Good, Shivam. Alternate of open source is, your proprietary softwares and programming languages where we normally associate it with licensing. Fine. So you need to put some, initial investment. Just think of a situation that you will have to build up a project. And for that, you need some set of 3 to 4, tools or programming languages. So primarily one important concern in our mind is that we should go for a particular set of tools or languages which are from the same organization, or you can say same product development company. Are you getting my point? Can you name the big companies which are into different kind of product development?
Oracle,
Yeah. What else?
Apache.
Apache, Microsoft, right? So I hope you remember the days when we people were having .NET environment. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So .NET, right? So with the .NET user interface, usually we, using the SQL server rather than Oracle. No doubt connectivity is feasible with other databases also, but primarily what was the main thing that it will be better if we do the database connectivity using SQL Server. So the reason was because SQL Server was also from the same company, Microsoft. So this is the main thing how companies run their user interfaces and backend. They make it is not a compulsion, but they provide the things in such a manner that you will automatically opt for the best possible. So could you please share with me what is best compatible with PHP? Have you used PHP earlier? A language for making your dynamic websites? Yes, students? If anybody knows which database is best compatible with PHP?
MySQL or SQL?
Yeah, it's MySQL. So I hope you got the point that when we come across with open source, So one thing is that it is freely available, and the source code is also available for modification or customization. So the people who are, a part of uh, developing team, one is the core team who has initially developed the programming language, but another thing is our community. So another good advantage of using our language is that it is having a wide user base. So there are lot many people who are not only using our programming language, but they are also part of developer community. Are you getting my point? Even in case of Python programming language, I hope you people have heard of GitHub repository. Yes, students, please
Yes, ma'am.
convey me.
Yes, ma'am.
So what we usually do on GitHub, one thing is we look for some kind of already developed or already contributed projects for our reference sake. And another thing is once you are also a registered contributor of that, you can also contribute in terms of some package development. And if that kind of package is not already there, so you can also contribute. So in case of open source, we are having one more feature that is termed as it supports extensibility. Are you getting my point? Extensibility. So the programming language which is extensible, so that kind of feature is also there in R. So you can extend your already existing packages. I hope one another thing that is most important with open source is version. So let's say earlier we were using Python 3.7 and then Python 3.8. So it means it keeps on updating. So if you will check after a few months, so definitely you will get some another version. Fine. So it keeps on updating, and the community of the developers, they keep on removing the bugs. So the best thing is you should go for stable version of whether it is R or Python. Okay, students? Is it clear to
Yes,
all of you? The difference between stable version and beta version. So many a times you may get that this is the 3.8.2, let's say the latest version, but it is still in beta version. So you should not go for that. Only try for those versions which are stable one. And mostly on different programming platforms and on different tutorial websites, most of the code you will get in stable version. Fine, students.
yes, ma'am.
So when you think of installation, go for the stable version so that you should not get any kind of error or problems while working with that. So R is a cross-platform compatible programming language, so you can easily go along with different programming platforms and operating systems. And one more thing is there, it is possible to integrate it with other programming languages. Let's say we have done some programming earlier in, let's say, .NET or Java. So just like Python, you can extend your programming scope by integrating your R code with some other programming language. So it comes under advanced, concepts in R, integration with other programming languages. Okay, students. So can you please share with me what is the advantage of such kind of feature?
We don't have to write code again and again.
Another thing is, suppose now you don't know that which language will come in future, let's say after 2 years. So right now you are a developer in Python programming language. Let's suppose after 2 years some another programming languages will come, and if it provides backward compatibility or integration with Python code, so it will be easier and convenient for you to switch over to that programming platform because you can import your already existing projects and lot of codes over there. You need not to recode again in that new language. Okay, students? So this is one very good, you can say, our advantage, and it is also there in Python. So you might have heard of things like Python, Jython. So please convey, have you heard of these kind of terms?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is nothing but again in support of program extensibility, or you can say integration with existing programming environment. So if you are Java developer, so you can make use of your code even in Python. Fine. So further, as far as application scenario is concerned, so mostly, the first thing that will come in your mind is about the statistical analysis. So nowadays, we people are using it for machine learning also, but in very beginning, people have started using R mostly for statistical analysis. Fine, students. So the things like flexible and fun in programming, these kind of all, abstract things you will understand when you will start programming in this programming environment. So we will not, spend more time on these kind of features. So no doubt data visualization is very solid feature for which it is popular among various programmers. I'm sharing with you people some links, so please note down. And if you have not installed it on your machines, you can just go for installation. So the first link is about our graphical user interface. Another is for installation of R Studio. So there is a small difference in between the two. R GUI, it is just like our console window. So better is to go for integrated development environment in which you will be having more features for your coding and debugging. So it is available at the link www.rstudio.com. Fine, students. So you will come across such kind of web page, and from there you can download R. So if you want to keep both things like R console as well as R studio, R studio is better than R console. Are you getting my point? So if you want to keep both, you can first go for installation of R console from the first link, and then you can install R studio. And one more point is there, when it comes to commercialization, even for that, not always everything is freely available. So sometimes some amount we need to pay in order to make it usable for the advanced level features and for business enterprises. So you may get some kind of different options for installation for R Studio. So go for the one which shows you freely available. Okay, students? We will open this link in any of the browser so that you can understand how to install. Installation part is very easy, so you can easily install R and R Studio. So please convey, have you already installed R Studio or not, or it is required to install?
No, ma'am.
No. So students, please note down the previous link, or you can just Google it for R Studio installation and install R Studio on your machine. Fine. So next is select CREN. So if anyone of you know about this thing, please convey. Yes, students. Are you aware of CRAN mirrors? And what does it means? Have you heard of this earlier?
No, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it
While
is
installing R.
so it refers to comprehensive R archive network. Okay, comprehensive R archive networks. So basically, it is a platform from where you can go for installation of your packages in R. So normally, whether it is Python or R programming language, we only go for basic or basic R installation. We never install all the packages in both the programming languages. Suppose you don't require any image processing package, so I will definitely not go for installation of that. So primarily, whatsoever basic, Python or R programming features you require, that comes under the basic installation. And if you want to work with any specific package, then you will have to install it. And for that purpose, we need to refer to CRAN mirrors. These are the different websites in different countries for the servers from where you can install the R packages. Like here, I have highlighted one from the IIT Madras. Fine. It is a Indian, website from where you can install the packages, and we call them as comprehensive R archive networks, the servers from where R packages can be downloaded. Fine, students? So what happens in actual, suppose think of a situation that you are handed students working in a lab, and all of you start downloading the packages from the Indian Mirror website from IIT Madras. So can you please tell me what kind of problem can come? Can you
मैम वैसे
visualize?
प्रॉब्लम नहीं होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर
हाँ.
उनका मिरर उन्होंने लगाया तो फिर हो सकता है, पर
Mhm.
वैसे DDoS काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन क्रिएट हो सकती है अगर हम सारे इकट्ठे ही उस पर रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे तो।
Yeah, good. So usually the beginners normally say that it's not working. So reason behind not working is only that when your uses from your premises, so it all depends upon your network bandwidth. And if in case many people will try to download the things from the same server, so it can be a problem of denial of service. Definitely, if lot many services requests are coming to the same server. So in that case, you need not to worry. You can only switch to some different mirror website. Okay, students. Let's say it's not working with Indian server. So you can work from another one which is available in Japan or some. So you will hardly come to know any difference in terms of time. I hope you can understand. So it is not like that it will take lot of minutes in comparison to Indian mirror website. So preferably we go for this. You can check for any country, mirror website for installation of our packages. So if you are facing any challenge in terms of, network issue or it's taking more time, then you can download it for some other website. So when you will start downloading R on your machine, so you will come across these kind of links. Download R for Linux or download R for Mac operating system, download R for Windows. So if you are working on R, so you just click one, and a normal installation process, you will have to just click on next to next. There is as such not any kind of customization process over here. So it will just install the basic R for you. Fine, students? So in these small steps, it will just do the installation part for you. Fine, students? So there are two integrated development environments available in case of R programming. First one is, as I said, R graphical user interface, R GUI, or we normally call it as R console. And another one is R Studio. So here I have taken a screenshot from the R console. So you can see here that only this interactive prompt is coming, and here you need to write your commands and you can execute them. Fine, students, or you can write the script. So this is the basic feature that is available. But when I switch to R Studio, so I have such kind of, working environment where your window will be divided into 4 sections. So you can just focus on the first one, that number one. It is referred as code editor window. Okay, students. So it is code editor window, and adjacent to that is your workspace and history, which I referred as number 3. So can you tell me what do you understand by this workspace and history? Yes,
Ma'am, it can
students.
provide us with debug data, like what kind of variables we have declared or something like that.
Okay, students. So when we keep on, running different commands and we keep on using different variables, so you can always go back to the history of commands used or history of variables used. You can check for them. So it's your workspace and history window. Normally, when we go for, set of commands, so let's say your code is consisted of 20 lines. So I will prefer writing it in the code editor window. Okay. And if it is a single line command execution, so you can simply go for R console. So just try to understand the difference between two. I will show you in the practical half how to make use of both these windows. So when you need to write a long code, always go for code editor window. And if it is a simple execution of some commands, you can go for R console. So just like Python, it is having greater than sign as the R prompt. Fine, students? So in all the languages, usually we work on some prompt. So for our language, we are having greater than sign as the prompt. Fine, students? So you will see on your screen some greater than sign. So it is the R prompt where you need to write your command. And the number 4 window is plots and files. So whatsoever files you are executing or any kind of visualization you are expecting, that will just visible in this 4th window. So that's why R Studio is preferred, because it allows me to write code. It allows me to check into the history of variables. It also allows me to see what kind of output is coming over here. And I can even use it as interactive command window. Fine, students? Any till now?
No, ma'am.
So can you please share with me what do you understand by the term package? Because many of you have responded that you are aware of Python basics, and some of you have used R also and Java language. So what does this package means?
Collection of modules.
Hmm. Collection of modules. Does it only have modules, or some other things are also there in this?
Classes, functions.
Okay. So the meaning of, package is same as you used to use in Java language. Fine. Sometimes we call it libraries. Sometimes we call it as packages. Fine, students. Like in C language, you were using some kind of libraries. So in order to use some functions, we always used to make use of the command include. I hope everybody remembers that command. Every one of you used to include certain files with the .h extension, fine, header files,
Yes, ma'am. Header
so
files.
that you can make use of some functionalities in your program. And it also gives you, you can say, feature of reusability. You are not coding for the things, but you are the user. So in order to use the things, you just need to include those libraries, as in C. And in Java also, you will have to include the packages. And here in our language also, we need to install the packages before we use any kind of functions from that package. And in Python, we also go for a command with the name import. Students, so if you want to do it in Python, so you will have to use command import and then name of the package. Fine, students. So we will see how to install packages in R, so that if you want to extend the capability or scope of your R programming, in addition to basic R programming, you can go for it. Students. So the point to take care is default installation should be kept as minimum as possible. Don't go for unnecessary installation of packages if they are not needed. Fine, students? So you can always load the R packages if some additional functionality is required. And for that, you will have to first of all explore what is the name of the package. So when you install any kind of package, it will again ask for the CRAN mirror. So you will have to choose the name of the mirror website from this drop down. So here you can see that it is a scroll bar. So you can just move this vertical scroll bar and check for any mirror website so that the corresponding package can be installed. So after selecting the mirror website, you will have to then check for which package is needed. Getting my point? What are the steps? So
Yes,
I will tell you the command also. So it will always ask for mirror website selection, means from which server you want to install the things. And another second point is which package you want to install. So by doing these two steps, you can install any of the package. So another feature is R has an effective data handling and storage facility. So as it is mainly used for statistical analysis and machine learning, so you can understand the importance of data concept. If I'm having many number of features and functionalities, so that I can manage my data well, I can transform it or I can improve its quality, so that analysis will also be better. So this all comes under effective data handling and storage facility. So R provides you scope for different kind of files integration. So can you name few file that are mostly used for managing the data?
CSV and XLS.
Fine. So you can go for even text file also, CSV file also, and you can make use of your Excel files also. So when it is a matter of having many records, so usually we prefer CSV and Excel file formats. But it also allows you to process your text files. Fine. So you can check for all that under the file handling section. So R provides a suite of operators for calculations on various data structures. So I have listed down the name of the data structures which are popular in R programming. So I hope every one of you are aware of arrays, lists, and sometimes we make use of vectors, which is a basic data structure in R programming, and matrices. So we will cover all these data structures in our upcoming sessions. So how to make use of arrays data structure, when lists are needed, or in what kind of situations vectors are preferable, and matrices. Okay, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So these are the name of the basic data structures. So along with this, factors can also be used. So R provides a large, coherent, and integrated collection of tools for data analysis. So that we will see what kind of added advantage it provides us in terms of data handling. So right from the data storage, data manipulation or transformation, and data visualization. So in order to analyze your data, you need to go through all these steps. So it is having more than 4,800 packages available for doing different tasks. So you will have to check your domain. Like we have mentioned, econometrics and data mining, spatial analysis, bioinformatics. So you will have to, just like Python, you will have to explore the set of packages which are needed. But 4,800 above packages are not needed for installation at one go. So only when they are needed, then you explore the name and install the correct package before you go ahead with any kind of analysis. So you can import your data, say for example, from CSV files, from SAS, SPSS, Oracle, MySQL. So it is having scope for different kind of database connectivity. And as far as output is concerned, say for example, you want to put the graph that you have just plotted using the R code in the form of JPG file or in the form of PNG file, then you can save your file or you can produce different kind of graphical outputs as preferred. So fine, students, so depending upon your need, in order to produce good technical reports and better data analysis, you can just create different kind of graphics out of our programming. So mostly we people go for JPG, PNG, so that we can include it. Fine. And if you are saving it in SVG format, then we can even modify it further. So in order to enhance the quality in some graphics editor or graphical, image editing program. So you have created a basic graph, but you want to make changes in terms of certain colors or some kind of extra labeling that you have skipped earlier. So all this kind of stuff can also be done later on in order to include it in your final report. So if I'm saving it in .jpg file format or PNG, I can even import it further in some image editing softwares and I can improve its quality. So this is the thing. Otherwise, in the graphical, packages, the output also is, well visualized, so it is not further needed. So, but if you need to improve, you can do it. Okay, students, so we are skipping from these slides, and I'm taking you to now our studio. Please convey, is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So students, as we have just discussed, so in this manner, you people can make use of your different windows. So currently, I am having this window over here in which you can see that some code is written in the first window, that is the code editor window, and we are having our programming prompt, which is greater than sign, the window number 3. Fine. So here also you can type your code, single line based commands you can execute. Fine, students. So further, are you checking this crosshair is coming? So I have just dragged down. So you can see here that these are all the variables which I have used in my different programs. So it will show you the name of the variable. You can check its data type. You can check the type of data values are there. Fine, students. So if needed, you can just explore if you want to refer back. Sometimes it creates some kind of error. So you can check that earlier if you have used the same variable. So just like other programming languages, it's also case sensitive. Okay, students? R is a case sensitive programming language. So if let's say in my code, I have used here one variable with the name small x. And in this, I have initialized the value hello students. So if you want to execute any line from your script window, just select that line and do click on R. Run, sorry. So this run tab is available here. You can click on this. So only a single command is run. Fine, students? And its output is coming in the window below this. Are you able to see the output? So this is the second command. In capital X, I have written how are you. Again, I will click on run command. So it will just show me how are you. So the next point over here is just observe this less than sign, and further I have used a dash. So it is basically used in order to assign some value to the variable. Okay, students?
Yes.
Later. So can you tell me what are the other options? Usually if I want to do it in some other language like C or Java or some other language, what kind of operator I use in between?
Equal to sign or colon equal to sign.
Good. So in our language, usually we make use of this assignment operator in order to assign some value. So whatsoever is written on this right hand side, it will be assigned to the variable. So you can jot down the difference here that small x and capital X are two different variables. They are not same. So just take care that if you have mistakenly already used this variable, so either you change the name of the variable, otherwise small x and capital X are two different variables in R. And another point you just note down is in R, we need not to initialize the type. So have you seen here in any of the statements I have written what kind of data I'm going to store here? Yes, students? Just like language, I haven't initialized any kind of, data type for these variables. Int a, I haven't used such kind of statement. So it means just like Python in R also, you need not to specify or define earlier before using that variable. So now question comes that how it takes care of what kind of data values can go inside these variables. So do you have any idea about this?
According to values.
Yeah, sure. Things which we are seeing on the right hand side are the data objects. So as I told you, it can be a list, it can be an array, it can be a matrix also, it can be a character, it can be a string. So depending upon the value that I'm using on this side, X will take its data type. And another thing is, if I will assign some numeric value now to the small x, so it will just take over the previous value. Okay, students? So suppose earlier in x, I have just saved my name. And later on, if I assign the value 50 to x variable, so it will just, overload the things. So the previous value will be removed and the new value will be taken for that variable. So fine, students, so please convey if all these points are clear, because I'm not able to see the chat window right now. For that, I will have to stop sharing. So in case if you have any question or any kind of query, please ask. Yes, students, I'm just checking your messages. In case if you have any query, please put it in the chat window. Shall I proceed? If you have any query, you can please ask. Okay, fine. So we have covered that in our programming, how the role of case sensitiveness is there, and we need not to bother about the data type declaration. The third point is, are you seeing anywhere that I have used some semicolon or any kind of line termination? Yes, students? These are the major differences which are nowadays popular among the open source languages. So in case to end up this line, I haven't used any kind of semicolon. And students?
Yes.
So in this current slide, I am showing you the different website names that you can explore. So another point of, you can say, preference of R is having a very, wide base of users who are using this. So we face a lot of challenges in learning any programming languages if we are not aware of our peer groups, or if very few people are using that language. So you won't get a chance for working collaborative, with collaborative understanding or any kind of, you can say, discussion groups. So these kind of problems are not there as far as Python and R is there. So you can check it out for any kind of your, queries in that you are not able to solve, or any kind of code issues you want to resolve through the stackoverflow.com. These kind of websites provides you with solution to your queries and requirements where you are stuck up. stackoverflow.com. And you can follow different tutorial websites also. rstatistics.com, rblogger.com. This is the official website of rproject.org. So you can explore these different links as in when you get time. Geeks for Geeks is also a good website where from where you will get the basic code. As far as programming languages which are open source and freely available, lot of documentation is available in the programming platform. So you can always go for referencing in detail any of the help material from the official website. So you can check the documentation of any package from there, like rproject.org. And the R Studio also, you can check for help on any of the function. I will tell you the command for that. So students, this is the way how you people can initialize the string value to the variable. So as and when you want to initialize whether a numeric value, then just go without these double quotes. And if it is a string value, make use of double quotes in order to initialize the value. And then by using the print command, you can just display the value that is assigned to the variable, my string. Fine, students? And just as I said, it is a case sensitive language. So if you have written capital S in this name, then always make use of capital S over here, don't go for small s. Then it will give you error message. Fine, students. And rather than using print command, you can also simply output using the name of the variable. So suppose we are putting the same command over here. As we have just assigned hello students, how are you to X and capital X. So if I will just put here capital X, so it will show you the value stored here. Fine, students. So it will just output the things. And if you are doing using the print command, then also you can do the same. Fine. So I have printed small x value using print command, or simply I have just displayed the name of the variable, and accordingly the value stored in that will be displayed. Then one more command I have shown here. This is, paste command is there in order to concatenate or combine the values stored in the different variables. So currently I'm having 3 variables A, B, and C. So in the first, I have initialized the value hello. In the second variable, I have put the value how. And in the third, I have initialized the value RU. So I'm looking for combination of these 3 in the sequence A followed by B and then followed by C. So I can make use of this paste command, print within parentheses, paste, and then again parentheses, list of variables A separated by comma, B then separated by comma, then C. So 2 parentheses will be closed and you can see the output of first line. Similarly, you can make use of this syntax where I have included separator. So by default, if you will try to combine the above 3 variables, by default space is the, you can say space is the separator. So if you want to put here comma, or if you want to put here hyphen or dash or colon, any kind of, you can take separator. So let me show you execution of these commands. Fine, students. So you just select the set of lines and click on run. So can you see here the output of the first line? Hello, how are you? I haven't specified any separator between the strings. So by default, it will take space. And if I will include this, dash, so after every string, and it will include this dash. Hello, dash, how, dash, R. And R and U is basically having one space in between. So it will not remove this space and fill it with this dash. So it is basically between the 3 strings. But if the single string is consisted of 2 words, so it will not put this separator between them. Is this point clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you are trying to run this paste command, so you can specify how you want to concat them. Suppose it is an IP address or so. So you can put your all the 3 values in these 3 variables, and rather than using dash, you can put dot over here. So it will concat using the dot operator. So I'm telling you the next version of the same command, paste command, with a argument collapse. Fine, students. So collapse equals to, I'm simply putting here double quotes. So collapse is basically meant for removing the space between the different strings. So if we will run this last command, you can see here. Are you getting difference? How it differs in terms of output with respect to the earlier commands? Yes, students? Note down the difference.
Yes, ma'am.
Please convey what kind of change it has done.
It has removed all the spaces. But ma'am, why
Yeah,
do we need
whether it is
collapse then? Because we can just apply separator as a null value, like as you did
because
in the
by
third print command.
default, if you won't provide any separator, by default also it will take space. Are you getting me? When you try to paste or combine the 3 or 4 strings, so by default it will take space. But if you don't wish to go for this, then you can make use of collapse argument. So it will just remove the space in between the concatenation of different strings. But if a single string, again, I'm telling you, if it is consisted of two words, like the third string was are you. So it is already having one space. It will not remove this space. But while joining hello, how, and are you, it will means it will remove space in between. Fine, students? So this is the meaning of collapse argument in case if you want to collapse this particular space. Fine, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So next, it also works like just as we work on calculator. So let me show you some of the commands that you can work around. Suppose this is A and I'm assigning here value 2. So it will simply take this value. Again, I am giving another value to variable B. Now in C, I am just adding A and B. Fine, students, and then you can display the value of C. So in this manner, you can put any kind of mathematical commands over here. The basic mathematical operators are same, and just in place of assignment, equal to sign, we are using assignment operator. So it works well, just like calculator. And the one command I have used here, that is this command. So I'm running these two commands. Can you see here that it has generated a data from 1 to 15?
Yes, ma'am.
What I did, I simply mentioned the starting and the ending value, and this column represents the range of values. So if you want to display the range of values, you can start with the starting value and you can mention the last value. And then I just printed the list of values. So it will generate these values. Fine, students? So here I am giving a brief idea about the basic, numeric vector. So in our programming language, vectors is the very basic data structure which allows you to store your data. Because if it is a matter of saving more than one data value, so I have shown you that I can simply assign a value 2, 3, like we assigned it to A and B variables. So a single value. If it is more than single value, so then we require the vectors, So it can be of different types. So if your all values are numeric, so you can go for numeric vectors. So I have used here one character that is C. Please observe the syntax first, and then you can just try it out in your R Studio or R console. So to X variable, I have assigned the set of values. These are 10, 12, 3, 5, 28, and 14. Okay, students? So what we did here, simply you make use of any variable m, let's say it is y, then assignment operator, then always make use of C. Fine. And in between, let's say 12, 13, 14, and 15. These are all the values. Now I will just check it out, how it will display. So I have saved the 4 set of values, 4 data values in the variable with name y. So yes, students, are you able to see what I have checked? So I have just used the command class. Fine, students. So what kind of class to which this variable belongs to? So you can check it out. It is of class numeric. Fine, so the values are of numeric. So now, if you want to compute,
My question था.
so I want to compute total. So for that, I am using this aggregated function over here. And by making use of, there are 4 arrows in your keyboard. So is left and right, top and down. So by clicking on top arrow, you can just trace back the previous command. So mistakenly I have written here X, and in X I was only having kind of character and string values. So now I can just check it out whether it has computed the sum or not. Fine, students? So the first thing what I did is I created a numeric vector and then I computed the sum of the values which are stored in the numeric variable, that is y. Fine, students? So you can do all this kind of stuff like minimum you want to compute. So I'm giving it a name min value. So just take care that it should not be any reserved word or keyword. I hope every one of you understand the basic concept regarding the keywords. So every programming language is having some set of keywords which should not be used as variable names. So in order to find out the minimum value out of the variable y, you can just make use of this function min. Fine, students? Similarly, max. In order to find out the maximum value, again, I'm running the command here. So when your variable is a collection of data values, you can do all this kind of stuff. Whether it is a minimum value, maximum value, you can compute the sum. So I have shown here in the slides as well. So all the kind of, functions you can execute. You can compute sum, you can find out maximum, you can find out minimum, you can find out length. And then I have run a command where we have tried to sort it. Fine, students? So it is by default in the sorted order. So you can put here true. So it will just do the sorting for you if you will put this argument set to true. Decreasing equals to true. So it will put back the numbers in decreasing order. And by default, it was sorted and it was in increasing order. So as and when you want to switch from increasing to decreasing or decreasing to increase, you will have to set the argument in the sort command. So within sort, you put the first argument as the variable name, then comma, and then followed by the second argument with the value true or false. And the name of that argument is decreasing. Decreasing equals to false means in ascending order, and decreasing equals to true means in descending order. So in case if you have any query till this point, you may please ask. So shall I proceed further?
Yes, ma'am.
So similarly, you can compute mean also. And there is one more, function which is known as type. Using type of, you can check for the type of the data variable. So further, these are some examples of arithmetic operations. You can perform any of the arithmetic operation using the command prompt. So this is also one more syntax of creating a numeric vector. So here I have used the assign command. Earlier what I did, I specified the name of the variable. Using the assignment operator, I have assigned the values in the numeric vector. So now what you can do, make use of this assign function, within parentheses specify the name of the variable, comma, and then see within parentheses all the stuff that you want to store. So these all values 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 13, 20 will be assigned through y variable. Fine, students. So you can do it. It's on this we'll try to run some interesting commands. So the first one is repeat command. Yes, students, can you see this output which is coming in this window? Command prompt window.
Yes, ma'am.
So I have run the command, REP. It is for repetition of certain things. So first I mentioned the range of values which I wish to repeat, like repeat 1:5. So I have already shown you one more example where I tried to display the values from 1 to 15. All the values in the range 1 to 15. So now I have displayed the values from 1 to 5 and I have mentioned the argument times equals to 2. Okay, students? So time equals to 2 means first finish the task from 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is one time. Then repeat again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine, students? So let us see if I change it to 3. So how it will repeat the sequence? Are you able to understand from where it has started repeating the things?
Yes, ma'am.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is possible using the repeat command function. So I'm going to try one more argument over here, that is each. Yes, friends. Oh, it's not in capital basically. That's why it has not shown the correct output. Caps lock was on. So be careful, as I said, case sensitive, whether it is the name of the variable or it is name of some argument or it is name of some package, it is case sensitive. Fine, students? Actually, each attribute within this command should be in lowercase. So that's why it is not repeating. Just a minute. It's fine now. So can you now observe the difference? How it is different from the previous one where I use the times at argument?
Ma'am, in the
Yes,
first
student?
one, it was repeating after the last value, and in this one, it
Okay.
is repeating at every step, like 1, 1,
Huh.
then repeating for 2.
So it all matters if I say repeat every number twice in the range 1 to 10. So what will be the command? Can you put it in chat window? Repeat all the numbers from 1 to 10 twice. Yes, students, just put it in the chat window. What command you will put? So first of all, you will have to tell the range 1:10 times equals to 2. Oh, it's not correct. It's not correct. Again, listen to the query. I told you to repeat every number twice in the range 1 to 10. Now it's correct. So if I wish that the first number should be repeated twice, then the second number, then you should go for each command, each argument. And complete series if you want to repeat 2 times. Overall, the number of times every number will be repeated will be same in both cases. But the sequence of numbers generated will be different. In the first, when I will go for times equals to 2. So if it is 1 to 10, what it will do? It will simply show you 1 to 10. So currently we are using each. So I'm showing you using that. I hope now you can see. If it is each, it means 1 will be repeated two times. Every number, each number should be repeated. How many times? 2. So, and if it is times, if it is times, so you will have to just, not step, but so first of all, it will just cover the range from 1 to 10 and then it will repeat the sequence. So it is basically for the repetition of the sequence and each is basically for repetition of each number in the sequence. Okay, students? I hope it is clear to all of you. Both the arguments, times and each. Please convey in the chat window.
Ma'am, please repeat the query.
Bete, I have shown you the usage of each and times argument. So if we want to display the numbers from 1 to 10 range, each number should be repeated twice. So actually we want to generate the sequence 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. And if I wish to repeat the sequence twice, then I will go for times argument. So first it will generate the sequence from 1 to 10 and then it will repeat it again. So just the order of numbers will be different in the two cases. You should focus clearly on what is required. Each number should be repeated twice, then go each argument. If sequence is to be repeated twice, then go for times argument. Fine? Okay. So next is if you want to create a character vector. Fine, students? If you want to create a character vector, then again, name of the variable followed by, you can also make use of assignment operator or equal to also, equal to C, and then within parentheses, put every data value within double quotes. This is the difference. So if it is a case of creating a numeric vector, these double quotes are not required. And if it is a case of just storing the character or string values, then always go for double quotes. Is it all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
And further, if you want to just check it out, like sometimes we need to check the data validation part. Is the particular number numeric or character? So you are having some, set commands for that, like is.character, and I will put within brackets the name of the variable. So if in actual the variable has, some numeric value, then is.numeric will give you true. Some kind of Boolean value it will give you. So is.character within brackets name of the variable means if colors is your character variable, then only it will return true, otherwise false. So you can check for this kind of validation using is.numeric or is.character. Fine, student? And then comes the role of logical vectors. So suppose you are 10 students in a group and I am just asking you, do you have laptop or not? Fine. You are 10 students in group, and my simple question is, do you have your own laptop or not? So it means I am expecting a Boolean value from every student. The response from every student will be either true or false, or you can say yes or no. Okay, students. So if such kind of situation is there and you want to store the values, more than one person or more than one data values, then go for logical vectors. And in order to assign a logical vector, your all values will be true or false. And just remember, it should be in capitals. Fine, students? You can have a look at this example where I have assigned the values true, comma false, comma true, and NA means not applicable. Say, for example, the question now, I'm turning the question. Okay, are you Sagittarius? Suppose, sun sign. I'm just asking a query. Are you Sagittarius? So it's not essential that everybody who is there in the group or in the target audience is of the same sun sign. So either you will say true or you will say false. So it means the values corresponding to the different users will be true and false. So these true and false should not be in lowercase but in uppercase. You will have to remember this thing. Otherwise, it will create some error. Fine, students. So now we are going one more, interesting part of it that you can do. Fine, students. So just look at this example which I have just run. I have created a numeric vector in which some values are means positive values and some values are negative values. So now my question is, I want to know that how many values out of this, which values are positive values and which one are negative. So a simple command I can execute. I have just put here b less than 0. Fine, students? So if the corresponding number in the vector is less than 0, it will say true, otherwise it will say false. Fine, students? So I have put the condition over here, b less than 0. B less than 0 means values less than 0. So I am having two values in the numeric vector that are less than 0. So in the first place, that is in place of 12, it will put false. In place of 4, it will put true. In place of 3, again, it will put false. In place of 10, again false. And in place of -5, again true. So I hope it is clear to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
In this manner, you can put some kind of, checks, and you can check for the conditions also on the values of numeric vectors. So now next example is of creating a sequence, and one example we are checking here. You will have to understand first of all, some arguments that can be used. So in order to create a sequence of values, so the first thing is either you put explicitly all the values that you want to save or you want to create. And another thing is, can we have some shortcut method where I can just specify some range or some criteria and it should go for automatic generation of that sequence. So for that purpose, rather than using simple, that C letter before putting the values, you can go for this another function that is SEQ, as we did it in case of REP. It was for repeating certain sequence. So in order to create or generate some sequence, we have one function that is SEQ. So what I did here, I put here 1 starting point and then 20 till which point we want to go, and I have used the argument by equals to 2. So you can just check it out. So is it visible to all of you? the sequence which we have generated just now. So it is starting from 1, it is going up to 20, and by equals to 2 means with the increment of 2, it will just generate the sequence. Fine, students? So if you want to make changes here, I equals to 3, then it will just make the changes in the sequence. After 1, it will generate 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 3, 7, 7 plus 3, 10, and so on. So the last value which will be generated here will be 19 rather than last value 20. So even if I have mentioned the, from value 1 and 2 value, that is 20. So there is more syntax actually which you can specify. Fine, students. So the name of the argument is from. From means from where you want to start. To means till which point you want to generate. And by means what is going to be the increment value. So here we have generated a sequence from 1 to 10 and incrementation 2. So it will generate the values 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay, students? Is it fine with all of you?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, okay, now do one small thing. Okay, I want a table of 16 to be printed. Can you do it? Yes, students, using the same command. Try out your
Yes, ma'am.
response in the chat window. So I'm expecting response from all the students. So in case if you want to take a break and you want to install, if you haven't done so far, so you can install RStudio and you can try the commands up to this point. You can take your time and if you wish me to continue further and then you will practice, that is your choice. Yes, students, please convey me how you want to go. Still your response here, how to generate a table of 16. Hey, Mehra. So sequence from equals to 16, 2 equals to 160, by equals to 16. Good. So you said equals to, I'm just putting here, and as we know that every value will be, with a gap of 16. So we have simply put our command here, and now we will print the value of A. So it will generate. So isn't it interesting? So rather than, just entering, let's say I want to store all these values. So you know not to type all the values 16, 32, 48, and so on. So you can even, do this way. And you can then save it to some variable. So all these values will be saved in the form of numeric vector. So it will generate a particular sequence according to the arguments that you are passing. Fine, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, students, now I'm going to tell you how vectors are useful in terms of performing certain mathematical operations. So we have just created the two numeric vectors. One is with the name R, another is with the name Y. So I want to compute the sum of these vectors. So I will just put over here that I want to save my output in the T variable, and I will give name over here. The first vector is with the name R plus Y. Please tell me what is going to be the output here. R plus Y. I haven't executed this command. So what response you are expecting out of R plus Y? R is a numeric vector, Y is a numeric vector. Each one is having certain values. Yes, students?
The output will be summation of all the variables in vector.
So, Saurabh, could you please tell me what is going to be the first value in the output sequence?
Then the element-wise addition maybe like 3 plus 5, 8, and then 6 plus 4, 10.
So good to know. The response will be 3 plus 5, 8, and means the addition will be done with respect to corresponding elements. The elements which are in particular sequence, the element which is at first place will be added to the number at the first place in the second vector, and so on. Okay, students? So similarly, you can perform even, if you wish to perform multiplication, then I will simply go for R multiply Y. Okay, student? So it means not only arithmetic operations on, simple variables, but on numeric vectors also you can go about all these mathematical operations. Fine, students? So once you have assigned some set of numeric values to some variable, you can perform all these operations. Fine, students. So if you want to compute power, so you can go for this caret symbol. So R caret 2 means each value in the R vector will be computed for its square. Fine, students? Is it clear? Please reply, or you can just respond. Are you getting this thing?
Yes, ma'am.
We have just computed the power value, raised to power 2, raised to power 3, and so on. So each value in the numeric vector will be computed for the corresponding power. So the command for, installation of a particular package in R, till now I haven't used any extra package. All the commands are part of basic R language. So in case if you want to install any package, then you can go for installation. So first of all, check the installed packages in R. Fine, students? So I'm telling you the command. So it is installed dot packages. So basically, first I wish to know which packages are already existing. Fine, students? So I have just executed the command. Are you seeing that a lot of package names are coming up? Fine, students?
Yes.
Installed dot packages. And then just like function, at the end you need to put the parenthesis. So it will just execute the command and tell you which packages are already available or already installed. Fine, students? Then comes question mark mean. Yes, students, are you getting it on in the fourth window where usually we get the plotting? There it has opened some help, arithmetic mean. Yes, students, please observe in the bottom right corner.
Yes, ma'am.
It is all about the mean function. Suppose I am not confirmed, means what kind of functionalities I can do with mean function, or what is the syntax of that, how to make use of it, how to code it. So what you can do, question mark, and then you can put the name of the function or about which you are interested in knowing, right? So it will just display the information for you. So as such, there is no need to cram the things. Fine, students? So you can always check. And another alternate method is help command. So if you wish to check using help command, that also you can do. Help, and within parentheses, you put the name of the method. Fine. So as soon as you type something, it will just show before you the list of options. Fine, students. So you can just go for that and you can put enter. So using any of the two methods, either you make use of question mark command or you make use of help command. So by using both ways, you can just check it out the corresponding documentation. So this is the best part. You don't need any book also. So any kind of thing you can explore like this. Okay, now you do a small job for me. I'm putting here in the chat window. Fine, students? So actually, I wish you to compute x square plus 2y plus 3. Fine, students? X square plus 2y plus 3. You can make use of any value for x and y. Fine, students? How you will write the expression? X square plus 2y plus 3. Take any value for x and y.
Ma'am, can you please repeat the question? X
Sure,
square
sure.
y.
Plus 2y plus 3. How you will write the mathematical expression and compute its value for some value of x and y. Take any value for x and y. Will it work? Okay, I'm taking your, the response I got from Shivam Maurya, right? So I'm just putting your syntax over here on the command prompt. So first of all, we need to give some value first. Let's say x is this and I assigned some value to this. Fine. Now again, I will do it as you. So it is showing me some error. Now please tell me what is wrong over here. Yes, beta. Please convey where is the error. As per your syntax, I have done it, right? So suppose you are assigning it to some variable and then you're putting this same syntax. Can we make some changes? X square. So it means x raised to power 2. And between 2 and y, I need to put multiplication. Will it work now? Fine, fine. Shreya Mehra. Well done. So in this manner, means just like we type it otherwise in textual form, when you're doing it in some programming language, okay, so you will have to abide the rules. So if in between, otherwise it will take it as simple 2y, okay. So you will have to put whether it to perform multiplication or x raised to power x means suppose the value of x is 5. So what it will do? Is it square or it will do 5 raised to power 5? Yes, students. So if we follow the previous, syntax shared by, let me check. Who has responded with the previous one? Before Shrey Mehra? Okay. So if we will go for that syntax, then it will do x raised to power x. Suppose the value for x is 5. So it will do 5 raised to power 5. But my question was x square. So always power needed is 2 only, irrespective of the value of x variable. Fine, students? So you should write it as x caret 2. Okay, students? Yes, students? Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So fine, students. So I hope till now we people have covered some of the basics and that you can practice. So I'm going to share a few more commands before we, start with the practice. So you people can carry on with your practice in the remaining time. So I'm going to tell you how we can make use of some commands like if-else statement. So every one of you is aware of how these are required in your programming concepts. So if it is a matter of checking some condition, so you can go for this. So here in this slide, we are seeing here that I'm going to tell you one more random data selection command. It is a sample command. Okay, students, suppose you have generated a sequence from 1 to 15 and now I want to pick any number from 1 to 15 randomly. So there is a command called sample command. So you will have to tell from where you want to take the sample and how many values to be taken. Fine, students. So suppose I want to pick up a single value out of the given set of values. So first of all, X assignment operator 1 colon 15. I think someone has unmuted due to that some echo is generated. So you can please mute your mic so that you can listen to me properly. So then the command is if within parenthesis sample x comma 1 less than equal to 10. Fine, students. So it will generate one random value out of 1 to 15, single value, right? And then it will check whether it is less than equal to 10 or not. If it is less than equal to 10, then my first condition will be true and it will display x is less than 10. Otherwise, it will go to the else block. So the criteria to understand this if else block you are all aware of because you have done with C, C++ and so on. Fine, students. So here also you can go about in the same manner. You can make use of this syntax and as such like Python, there is no as such colon or so over here. So simply if and then followed by condition, curly brackets, and within that you specify your block of code that you want to execute. Then similarly in the else block. Fine, students? Is this syntax clear to all of you? What
Yes,
we are
ma'am.
trying to do? So simply the new thing over here is sample statement. You can try it out. So you can take a sample value and then you can put some condition upon that. So randomly it will pick one value. So next is for loop. So for I in 1 colon 10, then we are just printing the value. It's a for loop which we normally use in order to iterate over some values. So I just want to iterate over values from 1 to 10. So it's not like your C language. So here you are specifying the name of the loop variable I in. In is kind of association operator. I'm checking the value of I in the range 1 to 10. So I'm telling here from where to start. I'm telling here till which point to go. Fine, students? So 1 to 10, and then we are printing the values. Similarly, in the next example, what we have done for I in 1 colon 20, if I mod 2 equals to 1, if we are simply putting this, if before understanding this, you just check it out, this operator, double percentage mark. So let us do it here in our studio. Suppose in I am having some value that is 10. Fine, students? Table name is I, and in this I am putting the value 10. Now I want to put in Y, I. First thing is division. So I'm just checking what is the output of that. I divided by 2. Fine, students? Next is, again I'm checking some output by changing the command I, and then a percentage sign, then 2. Double percentage. Fine, students. I hope you can now understand that what is the difference here. Whether I is completely divisible by 2 or not. Fine, students. Actual value in I is 10. So if you will put this double percentage operator in between, so it will just check it out whether the remainder is 0 or not. So if it is completely divisible, then it will just return. Fine. So it is just dividing it and returning to you the value. Fine, students. You can just write out the difference between the two. Fine, students. Because here it is completely divisible, that's why 0. Remainder value is 0. So if it is not completely divisible, just look for some other value of I. If you will assign here I is 11, then I'm again putting the same command I, double percentage mark, and then 2. So what will be the value now? Is it clear now what we are doing? We are trying to find out the remainder value after dividing it by 2. Fine, students. Sometimes we call it as mod operator. In Python, there is a need of single percentage mark. So here you require this double percentage mark in order to do the same. So if you want to go for simple division, then simple slash is required. If you want to go for this kind of, remainder, then you can put double percentage mark. Similarly, if you want to compute, it is I. There is a slight mistake here. Fine, students. So it will just do it for you. If the number is not completely divisible by, then it will go like this. So you can go for simple division. You can calculate the remainder of both things you can do using the double percentage sign. Yes, students. So now I have run I hope now you can understand this for loop coding where I have used the I value in range 1 to 20. And if I then double percentage mark 2 equals to 1, means I am checking that if the remainder is 1 after division by 2. Fine, students, then it will just continue to the next number in the sequence, as it will print the number. So can you please tell me what kind of numbers it will display between 1 to 20? Students, I'm not getting any responses from your good. So Yogita Sangwan has responded that we are going to get even numbers. Fine, students. So I can just swap the things also. If it is 1, then print the number. Otherwise, next is just like continue. Fine, student. So you can check for this. Suppose I am putting this, print command above. Control X. And I am putting will it work now? Yes, students. What it will do now? If I will just swap, if remainder is 1, then print, else next is continue. So it will just print the odd numbers. So students, we have done control statement also. We have seen the use of for loop also, how to create variables, how to work with numeric and character vectors, logical vectors, and so on, and how to create the sequences. Fine, students? So this all we have done till now. So this is one more example for loop. So for I in X, actually I'm having one set of, character values, apple, oranges, bananas, strawberries. So for I in X, print X of I. Fine, students? So in I, it is basically referring to every value in this. So for I in X, put value Xi. So could you please tell me what value it is basically taking in I variable? I is taken here as index value. Fine, students? So it will just display all the values that we are seeing here. So you can just put this code over there and you can do the testing, whether it is working or not. So first of all, we have created a vector array and then we have just put the loop in order to display the values. Are you getting the things what it is doing? Using the for loop, we have tried to display the values. So at a one go, what it is doing? It is taking all set of 4 values all together. Fine, students? What we are doing here? So when it is a first iteration that it shows, it is going to display all the 4 values. So it is running how many times? 4 times. Fine, student, till it finds any value. So it is just what it is doing. It is checking whether still some values there in the array or not, or numeric vector or not, or the vector on which you are working. You can apply this logic on numeric vector as well as on character vector. So it is having actually 4 values. So the loop will continue 4 times. and every time it will display as an output the complete. So it means what I am getting in X all the 4 values. Fine, students? So students, we are ending with today's topics that were scheduled. So we have tried to do some basic concepts related to R programming. Fine, students, and we have seen what can be the different features of R programming. Rest is to learn side by side. So when you will keep on exploring the R programming, you will come to know additional features also. So today in introduction, we have learned the basic, data structure that is termed as vectors. So I request all of you to try with all the commands that we have done today. Fine, students? So you can do your practice for the remaining time. Definitely, I will share with the concerned person, organizer of the event. So accordingly, they will share with you. Fine, students? Is it okay with all of you? So best luck for today's practice session. So do you want me to join back or tomorrow we take up the queries? Ma'am, are you there? Ma'am, I have actually ended up with the, the topic that we have scheduled for today. Hello? Yes, students. So it can be one thing tomorrow when we will start with the next session. So you practice all these commands and the starting few minutes we will take for queries, So you can make use of, this leftover time for number 1, installation. If you haven't installed till now, and you can practice the things. And ma'am, if you are there, kindly communicate.
Yes, ma'am, I'm there. Actually,
Students are
there is
asking for
audio
some
issues.
presentation. So
Yes, ma'am.
where you want me
You
to
share
send
that.
this? Yes, ma'am, you are not audible. Okay. Kindly tell
PPTs
your
in
email
their
ID, ma'am,
WhatsApp
so
group.
that I will send you after some time.
Okay, ma'am. I'm writing in the chat window, ma'am.
Okay, sure.
Or should I WhatsApp you, ma'am? My email ID?
For me, both ways it's fine, ma'am. I will do it
I will.
after a few minutes. Till then,
Yes, ma'am.
students
Sure.
can, install the things and then they can practice after receiving the presentation.
Okay, ma'am.
I
I'll
hope for
WhatsApp you my
today
email.
this much is sufficient for them and they can practice now.
Yes, ma'am. Fine.
Fine.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. So I will connect tomorrow and we will take up their queries once they will practice with this thing. So I will send you the presentation.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
either you you send your email ID to my WhatsApp number.
Okay, ma'am.
Will revert back. Fine, ma'am.
Fine, ma'am. Fine. I'll WhatsApp you.
Okay, ma'am. So
Okay,
thank
ma'am.
you,
Thank you.
students, for being with us this evening and for participating in this interactive manner. So I hope all of you will practice once you will receive the presentation and get back with queries in case if you face any problem. Okay.
Thank you, participants, for your active participation today. And thank you, Shanu ma'am, for such an informational lecture. We'll join back tomorrow for further lectures. Thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
ma'am. Okay.
Thank you.